This week on Mixing It Up with Pete and Maureen, we'll be talking about our favorite picks for holiday movies, TV shows, and songs of the season.
You may be surprised at what made the list and what didn't. Well, hello again, everybody. I'm Pete.
And I'm Maureen.
And we want to welcome you to our dining room studio. And Maureen is here with a glass of Bailey's, and I'm here with a glass of Merlot. And we invite you to join us, too, around our table with your favorite libation. And this is our Christmas podcast, Part 2. And this week we are talking, as Maureen said, about our favorite holiday movies and songs and maybe things that we weren't so crazy about.
So let's start off with movies and or TV shows, Pete.
Okay, we're going to put that in one category.
I think so.
Okay.
Do you want to do just a rundown of the top five or of your top five and then mine and then talk about them? How do you want to do this?
Yeah, we'll do the top five, counting from 5 up to number 1.
Okay, well, I put mine, folks, to let you know, Pete and I wrote down our things. We do not know what each other has selected.
Although I think I know what's on your list, and I think you know some of what's on mine.
Some, but I don't think we know each other completely.
Okay.
But anyway, when I wrote mine down, it's not in any particular order. So.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, number 5 for B.
Okay.
Is It's Christmas, Charlie Brown.
Okay.
That's my number 5.
Mm-hmm.
It's an hour long. You're not going to be there watching it all night. It's cute. It's fun. It's got nice songs. And again, it's one of those things that people in our generation grew up watching that. I think it used to be on NBC.
You got me.
And so that's a part of my childhood. So number 5 for me is It's Christmas, Charlie Brown. Is it It's Christmas or Merry Christmas, Charlie Brown?
Or is it a Charlie Brown Christmas?
A Charlie Brown Christmas. Anyway, it's the Charlie Brown thing with the skinny tree. Remember, that was the only Christmas tree he could find, was this little stick tree.
Well, he felt sorry for it.
He felt sorry for it, yeah. So
it wasn't that it was the only one he could find.
It's the one with the skimpy tree. Okay, do you want to do yours or should I keep going?
Okay, well, again, like mine was in no particular order, but at the last one that I wrote down was A Christmas Carol.
Now, which one? Because there's a bunch of them.
That's why I put it low on the, because I really like them all, and for different reasons.
Okay.
Like, I like the Reginald Owens and Alastair Sims, the real old one, and I never remember which one is which. Which is the one where Scrooge gets like absolutely giddy?
Alastair Sim.
Okay, well that one I like, but I like the one with
George C. Scott.
George C. Scott. I like the one with Henry Winkler, and of course, I love Mr. Magoo. So I that's why I put that one down the end, because it's not any one particular one. Mm-hmm. It's a conglomeration.
Okay, number 4, mm-hmm. Mr. Magoo's Christmas Carol. Now again, that is another one that goes back to my boyhood, and I have to confess, because if you've heard my previous podcasts on here, I can be slightly outrageous at times. I have to tell you.
Little cantankerous.
That one, Magoo's Christmas Carol, brings me to tears.
Yeah, I agree. I love that one.
In fact, I used to watch it privately here, mm-hmm. because I didn't want Maureen to see me crying.
And I knew he liked it so much that the one year I bought him a DVD of it.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't watch it.
Yeah.
Because he didn't want to cry.
I didn't want you to see that. But yeah, that's like my number 4. Go ahead.
My number 4, and it's kind of, I put a question mark because I wasn't 100% on it, was Home Alone. He's making. I wish we had a video. You got to see this face.
Can you see the scrunchy face that I'm making here? Well, I'll put the mic closer so you could all see the scrunchy face that I'm making.
But I love Macaulay Culkin when he rigs up the house and he's playing Jingle Bell Rock and he's dancing and he's got all the things going in the windows.
That's when Macaulay Culkin was cute.
Well, yeah.
You know, now he could stop at 8 o'clock an hour. But.
Now be nice.
Okay.
It's Christmas.
Right, it's Christmas. Okay. But yeah, it's kind of a fun picture, and you got Joe Pesci as one of the crooks.
Right.
And it's kind of fun. Okay.
Well, I'm glad I have your permission.
It's your list.
Okay, number 3.
Mm-hmm. Number 3 is, now here we go with the Christmas Carol movies. And my number 3 is A Christmas Carol with Reginald Owen.
Okay.
And I believe June Lockhart was the, what was it, the niece, Scrooge's niece?
Okay.
I think that was June Lockhart. So for me, that's number 3.
Okay, my number 3 is The Christmas Story with, the Gene Shepherd, you'll shoot your eye out.
How did I not put that on the list?
I don't know.
I had a senior moment, I guess, when I was putting the list together. Well, you know what? Put that on my list. That's added to my list.
Okay. You'll shoot your eye
Yeah,
out.
I love that. I don't know why I didn't put that.
I don't know either.
All right. Well, anyway, Reginald. In fact, I'll probably kick one of these off my list then to make room for the Gene Shepherd's Christmas Story. My next one is A Christmas Carol with Alastair Sim.
Okay, so you broke it down into versions.
Yeah.
I put them all together.
Yeah, I think the Alastair Sim version is the greatest of all time. And there have been some pretty darn good ones that were done after that, including the one with George C. Scott. But for me, Scrooge is forever Alastair Sim.
Mm-hmm. I'll go with that.
Now, number 1.
No, number 2.
Oh, you're on your number 2. Okay.
Yeah. Number 2, Miracle on 34th Street.
Okay.
And one of my favorite parts is at the very, very end, after all the doubt is dispelled about whether or not Kris Kringle is really Santa Claus, and whether he exists and all that. And there's all that doubt and all the adult stuff that goes on. And at the very end, when they go to see the house, the little girl asked for a house. Mm-hmm. And there by the fireplace is his cane. And it was like when the lawyer guy, he goes, maybe I didn't do such a great thing after all.
Mm. Is that where you get weeping? Do you get the little weepiness in the eyes
a little
when
bit.
that comes on?
Yeah, but yeah. I really love that.
That was little Natalie Wood, right?
I think
the
so.
The little girl was
I think
Natalie
so.
Wood.
I'm not good with names, as you can tell.
Pretty sure that sometimes she doesn't even know my name.
Yeah, good old what's his name
over there? Okay, now you and I, if we are not united on number 1, something is very, very wrong. Okay. Should we say it together?
Yep.
3, 2, 1.
White Christmas.
Right? Gotta be the best Christmas movie ever. Why do you like it so much?
Couple reasons. The very first time I ever saw it, my parents didn't go out very much together and leave us kids, but this was a time when we were getting babysat by our next door neighbor, and my sister and I were already a little old to be babysat, but we were too young to be left alone. But my brother needed a babysitter, and Joanne was over, and we watched White Christmas. And that was the first time I ever saw it, and I was just enthralled with it. And then after that, a very favorite memory I have is of my sister Patty and I doing the Sisters song. And it's bittersweet now because my sister just passed away 3 years ago. And now when I see it, it kind of chokes me up. But I can't bear not to have Christmas without seeing that.
Yeah. And every once in a while, you and Patty would sing it. You would
we had the whole routine down. We did the whole thing, Yeah. God help the sister who gets between me and my mister. So we hammed it up and we had a good time with that. Mm. And we always, that's a happy memory. But I think we agree on this. There's a jump the shark moment in that movie for me. Where
I know.
Where it kind of like you could leave it out.
This was one of the scenes that they could have put on the cutting room floor, and nobody would have missed it. And there's got to be a reason. There's got to be a story, because behind every movie, there's a story. Mm-hmm. There's always a backstory about, well, originally we wanted to get this one to play the lead, but then the producers thought he was too old or too this or too that, and there's always a big backstory behind every movie, and I'm sure that there is a backstory on that particular part of the movie.
Okay.
Which is...
the choreography scene.
Yeah.
that
The
whole
theater, the
theater.
theater. What have they done to the theater?
And then he's got that stupid beatnik kind of thing with the tam and the. It's just like, where did this come?
Who digs steps? Right?
Yeah. And it's just like,
It just,
where did that come
it just
from?
sticks out in the movie. And
Like a sore thumb.
I don't know what the backstory is, but it wouldn't be.
Maybe one of our listeners knows and can tell us.
You can always write to us at PeteMaureenPodcast@yahoo.com. I have a feeling, just a feeling. I don't think Danny Kaye was the easiest guy to get along with. We know Crosby wasn't.
Unfortunately,
Crosby,
I've heard that.
unfortunately, Bing Crosby fans, and I think most of them know,
I love him
he
in the
was
movies.
a first-rate SOB in real
But
life.
I absolutely adore his voice.
Not a nice man.
I adore his movies.
Great actor. Great,
I want him to be, Father
beautiful
O'Malley,
voice.
Yeah.
Well, that's what everybody thought he was, Father O'Malley. Everybody thinks of Bing Crosby, and you think, well, he must be like Father O'Malley. No, he was anything but Father O'Malley. He was not a nice person. We'll just leave it at that. But I have a feeling that maybe Danny Kaye insisted that number be included.
Got me. We'll have to do some research on that.
Because he was a pretty big star by that point. Not as big as Bing. In fact, one of the backstories was that Danny tried to really curry favor with Bing Crosby when they were shooting it, and Bing wouldn't give him the time of day.
Really?
And he would try to get Bing to laugh because Danny Kaye was a funny guy.
Yeah, right.
And if he could get Bing Crosby to laugh, he thought that he had really done something. And of course, you know the story about the end of the movie. The King and Queen of Sweden were on the set.
Oh, I've heard this.
And
Tell the people.
they had finished up with the principal photography, and the director said, "Wait a minute, I want everybody back on the set." And they pretended that they were going to shoot the final scene again for the King and Queen of Sweden to watch, even though it was already done.
Right. I guess they weren't there when it was really filmed.
They weren't there when it was really filmed. And so Crosby was like, "I'm out of here." He wanted no part of it. He was like, Crosby was a big golf nut.
Right. I remember
And they
that.
said if he wasn't on the set, he was on the golf course.
Isn't there like a golf classic or something
There
named for him
used to
or
be a Bing
something?
Crosby
Yeah.
golf tournament. And so when they got done with the filming, it was like, "Are you done with me?" "Yeah." "You need me for anything else?" "No, Bing, we're done. I'm out of here. Deuces, everybody." And, Bing's out on
Peace
the golf
out,
course.
Boy Scout.
And there was no film in the camera when they reshot that. They were just like, "We're not going to put any film because
Right. There's no point.
there's no point in doing it. But just for the King and Queen, we'll make nice, and we'll shoot it." The songs are great.
Absolutely.
The songs are great.
And Rosemary Clooney, I mean, it's beautiful.
Beautiful. Oh, my God, she was so beautiful.
And the gowns and things that
Striking
she wore.
blue eyes.
Yes.
These gorgeous blue eyes. And Vera Ellen, who, by the way, did not sing in the picture.
Okay.
That was, her voice was dubbed.
But she danced, right?
She was a dancer, and she had that teeny tiny little
Oh, my
waist.
God. I'd love to know what her waist measurement
could-
was. It
you
had to be
could-
like,
it's-
2 inches
It's
around?
probably on the internet. It this teeny tiny little waist, but she didn't sing, but she was a dancer. And when they shot the sisters routine, the rumor is, I don't know if it's true or not, that Rosie Clooney did both voices.
Oh,
Vera Ellen did not sing. And the story is that they recorded Rosie twice. And the laughter that you see, remember there's the scene where Danny Kaye and Bing Crosby dress up
yes.
as the women, and they do the number, and they're laughing hysterically. That was genuine.
I could believe that.
They said that Bing really broke up with Danny when they were shooting it, and it was so good it was just like, print it.
Keep it, yeah.
Leave it in. Now, for me, one of the great parts of White Christmas is the guy that played the general.
Mm-hmm.
And that was Dean Jagger,
Right.
who has a very, very striking resemblance to my father,
Well, I've said that to you,
especially in his later years.
yeah. Right.
And boy, when he comes down in his, and I there used to be a picture that I had of my dad in his military uniform. I don't know where it is now, but I remember the picture. And when you see Dean Jagger come down in that military uniform, I see my dad. And again, that's another one where I start to well up.
Are you talking about the beginning of the movie?
The beginning when he comes down? No, when he comes down the steps.
Oh, at the end when they're honoring him with the surprise.
And he comes down, and I think it's his niece meets him at the bottom of the stairs, and he looks dashing. He looks and I see my dad.
And he also looks dumbfounded.
Yes.
In which case I see your dad. Because your dad, I mean, I've only known him a few years. I didn't have as much time with him. But he was a very unassuming guy. And he would not, it would be beyond him, he couldn't fathom that someone would honor him like that. Yeah. And I see that parallel between Dean Jagger and your dad.
There's that scene when he walks into the banquet hall.
Right.
And all of the guys that served under him are there.
Right.
And he walks in and you hear, "Turn hot!"
Yeah.
And they're all on their feet applauding.
I mean, that's the best. That's the best. And I love, what's her name? The busybody. Oh, yeah. She was the switchboard operator for the hotel. And she overhears Bing talking to Ed Harrison, the character Ed Harrison, about, but she only hears part of the conversation. Right, and she's like ready, loaded for bear, thinking that he's selling out and he's going to, use the old man as a ploy to promote his show. And what I also like is that the way that they fixed it so that all his suits were out to the cleaners except for his military uniform. And he goes to get dressed to come down to dinner, and all that's in his closet
is the military uniform.
And he's like, "Where's my suits?" "Oh, they're out to the cleaners." And he
I ought to have you court-martialed.
And he doesn't get it that something's up, which I love.
Another beautiful thing about White Christmas for me is, because I'm a techie, is the cinematography. It was shot in what is called Vista Vision, which was a 35 millimeter print tipped over sideways. And the color in Vista Vision, it was a Paramount product, is very, very dense, very luxurious, and very rich. And Loyal Griggs, who shot White Christmas, was a master color cinematographer. And he also shot Shane, if you remember that movie.
Vaguely. It
was a Western. But again, the color in Shane, and I think that was also VistaVision, very rich. It's just a cinematic treat. If you've got a really good copy of White Christmas on DVD, the color just pops, and the cinematography is just breathtaking. I think Maureen and I could say that movie for us is a 5-star treat all the way around, except the one Danny Kaye number. Choreography, sorry.
It could go.
Should have put it on the cutting room floor.
All right. So that kind of takes care of the movie TV series. Anything else you want to say about that?
Nope, I'm good on that.
All right. So now, when it gets to Christmas music, I kind of put them in categories. And we're church music musicians, so I don't know if this is the proper word for it, but what would you say is your favorite secular song with not a religious theme for Christmas?
I have 2.
Okay.
And you're never going to guess them.
Go ahead.
One is the Christmas song by the Chipmunks.
Oh, Christmas
time is near. Again, I had that as a kid. I can tell you it was a 45 RPM. It was on Liberty Records, and it had a blue label.
Okay.
And it said David Seville and the Chipmunks. And if you looked in the writing credit, it said Ross Bagdasarian. Who was David Seville?
Okay.
That was his real name, Ross Bagdasarian. But with the Chipmunks, he was David Seville. And Simon, Theodore, and Alvin were named after 3 executives at Liberty Records.
The trivia this guy knows.
I'm telling you, I got it going here.
I'm telling you, if you don't listen to this podcast every week, you're going to miss out.
I got it going. They were 3 execs at Liberty, and I always loved that song. And as a kid, I would play it and play it and play it. And my folks would be upstairs, and I'd be down in the basement with the stereo going, and they'd, please stop with that Christmas already, please.
And that one has like the whole thing with the Chipmunks with like, getting ready. There's like a musical interlude and like they're like Alvin's not ready. Like they're yelling at Alvin. It's like, Alvin, Christmas
time is near.
Okay, so then what? You said you have 2. What's the other one?
The other one, and my daughter, Kimmy, if you're listening, I know you like this. Dominic the Donkey. Lou Monte.
Okay.
Jiggity jinky, it's Dominic the donkey. Jiggity jinky, the dancing Christmas donkey or something.
Okay.
She loves that.
All right. I would not have guessed those.
Yeah.
You're right. Okay. Well, mine is Silver Bells.
Okay.
I always just liked it. I like the tune of it. It flows.
Any particular recording of it, like Ray Conniff or something? Or?
No, not really.
Okay.
It's one that when it comes on, I always want to sing along with, and
Okay.
I just really like it. So, how about as far as carols, religious-y music?
Hands down. Hands down. Again, can bring me to tears. Oh, Holy Night.
That was mine too. And folks, back in the day, that was Pete's special song that he did at St. Paul the Apostle in Irvington, New Jersey.
Yep.
And he would do Oh Holy Night. And even I have to say, even our kids kind of gave Pop the props on that one. And it took a lot for them to compliment their dad or their mom. Yeah. But there was one year when Pete didn't sing it for some reason. And
I think
they
I
were
had laryngitis or something.
or we just decided we were going to do something different. Yeah. And they were like, why didn't Dad get to sing Oh Holy Night? Yeah. Yeah, that's by far on the top of my list. What about worst songs?
Okay. I've got two.
I've got two as well.
All right, you go first.
The Barking Dogs, Jingle Bells.
Yes! Yes, I had that too.
All right.
I am so sick of... I'm so sick of that. That was actually my number one.
Yeah, mine too.
Okay, and what's the second?
Christmas Shoes.
Oh, no. Yeah, that's another one it is written to make you cry.
Well, the first time through, I got the appropriate lump in my throat. Yeah. I felt, touched. It was a lovely song that did what it was supposed to do. But the 457th time, all I have to do is hear that, and I punch the button on the radio.
Yeah.
I don't want to be sad at Christmas. I don't want to be moved to tears. I got it. Your mom died. You're getting the Christmas shoes. I sound like a hard ass, but I don't want to hear this anymore.
I get it. For me, Grandma got run over by a reindeer. That is a song that when you sing, when you got half a bag on.
You speak from experience?
That is, I'm only on my first Merlot, so I'm not there yet. No, that to me it's overplayed, it's overdone, and people invariably, I think, sing it when they're stewed.
Now, this is going a little out of sequence,
mm-hmm.
but when we were talking about movies, I meant to bring this up.
Okay.
Now, we said there's probably some that you're surprised that weren't on. And I think we're probably going to hear it for not putting on It's a Wonderful Life.
Sorry, folks. Sorry.
Well, that one, for years, I never saw it start to finish.
I haven't either.
It was always on, and I would pick it up, and I'd catch parts of it. And then a few years ago, for some reason, I finally had the opportunity, and I sat down and watched it start to finish in one continuous thing, and I was like, okay.
This is it?
Yeah. I mean, it's not that it's a bad movie, but it doesn't rate my top list.
All that I remember is Jimmy Stewart. Merry Christmas! That's the crowd pleaser right there.
And every time a bell rings, an angel gets their wings.
Yeah, that's all that I remember. Jimmy Stewart. Merry Christmas! Merry Christmas, everybody! Merry Christmas!
So, I mean, that one I thought maybe might have been kind of a surprise. That,
yeah.
And
I'm sure there are people who listen to the podcast now. They didn't say they didn't mention Jimmy Stewart. They didn't mention It's a Wonderful Life. I watch A Wonderful Life every year, and Pete didn't mention The Christmas Story on it at first. But that's because Pete is old and he forgot. That's why.
And the March of the Wooden Soldiers is another one that people tend to.
Laurel and Hardy.
Is it Laurel and
Hardy?
Hardy?
Laurel and Hardy.
But you know the whole.
But you didn't like Laurel and Hardy.
Not particularly.
Or the Three Stooges.
Laurel and Hardy I liked better than the Three Stooges.
Or the Marx Brothers.
They were really before I didn't watch the Marx
Well, they're
Brothers.
before my time. They're,
Yeah, but
30 years before my time, and I love them.
But you watched them. I didn't really watch them until I met you.
I find, and you may agree with me on this, I find that the Three Stooges, the Marx Brothers, especially the Stooges and the Marx Brothers, are guy things. Guys dig the Stooges. Women don't, because too much slapstick, too much poking in the eyes.
Right. And for me,
Yeah.
my nickname is Mo. And the kids were mean to me.
Hey, Mo.
And they were like, "Hey, Mo, where's Larry and Curly?"
Larry and Curly?
And I heard that all my life. And, if there was any chance that I was going to like the Stooges, it went out the window with that.
So there you have our top movies, our top TV shows, and our favorite songs and not so favorite songs for the holiday season. And if you want to drop us a note, let us know if you're enjoying the Pete and Maureen Mixing It Up podcast. Send it to Pete and Maureen podcast at yahoo.com.
Yahoo!
Pete and Maureen podcast at yahoo.com. This is probably going to be our last podcast until after the new year, I would think.
Well, after Christmas
After Christmas anyway, because as soon as Christmas is over and the Christmas tree is back down in the basement, we begin with the somewhat sad task of getting our house ready for sale, because we're going to be putting it up for sale probably in very early January, maybe the first week of January. So it's kind of a bittersweet Christmas here in the Torriello house, because we've been here for 35 years, and this will be probably the last Christmas here, but I don't want to get weepy. So everybody have a great holiday. We'll see you after Christmas.
See you soon.
I borrowed one of the singing dogs.